How's it going, everybody? Ryan here. Unfortunately, we had some catastrophic failure with some of the podcast audio. In fact, all of the podcast audio. Everything that went out over the live stream was okay, but what was recorded in the application was not. So, I have had to strip the audio from the live stream of this week's episode and try and turn it into the podcast that you are about to listen to. So please bear with us. Hopefully it's not too terrible. And hopefully it's not going to happen next week too. We'll see what's going on. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough apologies from me. Enjoy this, the 60th episode of the Topless Robot Podcast.
ToplessRobot.com presents...
Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
What the fuck does that mean?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 60 of the Topless Robot Podcast. My name is Ryan.
I'm Brooks.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Dan.
And with us this week is Nathan Blackwell from the most excellent 80s movie podcast.
Hi, everybody.
Man, that's a powerful last name.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very powerful.
Yeah, like, are you like a wizard or?
It does sound like that. Like,
The Dark Wizard Nathan Blackwell!
I kind of want to get a quest from you right now.
Oh, he's in Lady Hawk.
Oh, there's an 80s movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys done Lady Hawk yet?
No, we haven't.
So, Nathan is a co-host of the most excellent 80s podcast, 80s movie podcast. It's a mouthful. The most excellent 80s movie podcast. And
He did it. He did it, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The most excellent.
the most excellent. So is that
Excellentist.
with a name like that? Does that mean that the podcast is the most excellent, or the movies are most excellent?
Yes.
Well, it's all kind of a riff off of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I've never heard of that
So,
shit.
yeah.
William and Tidrick.
William and Theodore. I actually used to pass that gas station all the time. So
Oh, yeah. That's on, what, Southern and Kyrene?
I've never been.
I think it's on.
yeah.
I think it's on. I think it's off of Hardy. I think maybe.
Yeah, it's in there. But yeah, at any time I have an opportunity to kind of swing by there, I do. That's
How excited / hesitant are you on 3?
Oh, I don't know. For me, it's low stakes. Like, it's not like, we were talking before we started live streaming about a Big Trouble in Little China remake.
Yeah.
Like, that would be high tension for me. But like,
Yeah, there's more at stake.
Yeah, spiritually, ethically, But like for a big for like a Bill and Ted's, like for me, it's pretty low stakes. Like, I enjoyed the second one, but it's just like it's kind of like a victory lap to me. Like if it was terrible, that's fine. I never have to watch it again.
Sure,
it doesn't tread on my soul personally.
It could have been a Ghostbusters 2.
Right? Yeah. So.
Vigo the Carpathian is a wonderful character. Okay.
As someone who was following like the rumors of Bill and Ted 3 happening for years, the moment I'd heard it, I thought it just wasn't going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's such an outlandish idea.
Yeah.
And it's been going,
It's been for years.
Yeah. I mean, it was years and years where they were talking about it.
And not only were they talking about it, there were like stop and goes too, where it was like, yeah, it's happening, and then it wasn't happening.
And then like suddenly
And then
there's
it's
a set
happening again.
photo.
The Duke Nukem Forever of classic 80s movies.
Yeah, right.
Don't give it that curse, dude. Yeah. This could at least.
Don't you put that evil on
Bill and Ted
It
canon
still has the
forever.
potential to be good.
It could be good. I'm hoping that it's going to be good.
It's got Keanu Reeves in it.
Keanu Reeves.
I'm okay with
Yeah.
with Keanu's decisions, including dating what's her face.
I was going to say,
looks like.
so since we're on the topic,
Oh,
the media has been going bonkers over Keanu Reeves dating, not only dating, but dating someone age appropriate. who is still 9 years his junior.
Yeah.
I think that's weird to report on. I think the newsworthy element of it is it's the first girlfriend that he's been public with in over a decade. Because his previous girlfriend that he went public with died, I think, shortly after they broke up or something like that. I don't know the whole story there because I don't pay attention to celebrity rumors and
he's also just
like
not a bombastic person who advertises everything he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked all the popularity that Keanu Reeves has been garnering the last couple of years for his work, but as far as like
He's
this
an
dating thing
excellent
goes,
dude.
it's like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Good job. He's dating someone.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's happy considering like how much sad Keanu memes we got.
Yeah.
Now we've got
over the
happy
years.
Keanu
And-
memes. Keanu Reeves.
Whoa. He's up there.
One of the best of which is "You're breathtaking."
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
YUOR.
I wish we could turn your yelp of excitement when he showed up during.
Yeah, dude.
And I want that to be like a auditory meme.
Very rare
Oh
moment.
my god!
It's a very rare moment of me actually being happy.
Keanu Reeves
It was
shined
it was
little
such
spotlight of
a
happiness
beautiful
into his
moment.
dark light.
Such a beautiful moment. Yeah, but it's
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's a combination of the
Keanu Reeves
Us Weekly
wipes his
magazine
butt.
garbage, and also internet people being really kind of assholes, like that kind of like ownership that people on the internet take over celebrities, and just like seeing them not be available anymore, and
Sure.
a lot of people being like, "Oh, she's so old and not attractive looking. I could be your."
It's because they're doing nothing and they're jealous of the people that are
Yes.
doing something.
yeah.
Also, she's a babe, and Keanu thinks so. So
Correct.
And also, like, Keanu is like ageless.
Yeah.
And it also comes with the realization. It's like, oh, he's like 55, isn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Is that a senior citizen? Technically?
He could get $2 off at Hometown Buffet.
Yeah.
Really? I thought you'd have to be in your 60s
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
I think
55 or
it's
over.
55, yeah.
Holy shit.
yeah, he could shop at Tuesday morning and get a discount.
That early bird special's calling you, Keanu.
And Paul Rudd is up there too. Paul Rudd's in his 50s.
Yeah.
And has
also
looked
does not
the same
age.
since Clueless.
They're the same. They're part of the same like occult
Vampire
pact
Coven.
Yeah, right.
that doesn't age.
Well,
They're
you
part of
see,
the same vampire
both
cover.
of their
And
legal
Charlie
names
Brown.
are Dorian Gray. So
Yes.
you know.
Yeah. They just have a painting squirreled away somewhere in their mansions. They're never allowed to look at it.
Somewhere there's a gallery that's hidden deep underground in someone's like big super mansion. It's just a whole bunch of pictures of their celebrities. So he got some Paul
Aging
Rudd.
appropriately. So, with the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast, how long have you guys been at it?
Just a little over a year and a half. So we're coming up on our second anniversary. Yeah, and we just started. Honestly, Chrissy does most of the work. I just show up and be quote unquote charming. The whole angle is that we're watching these movies that it's not just an era that we love, but it's like literally the era that we grew up and discovered movies. Mm-hmm. So if there's like a subtext for the Most Excellent 80s Movie Podcast is the movies, that formed me as a person, and do they hold up now that I'm an adult?
Sure.
So we'll rewatch stuff and it's like, wow, this is super rapey, or just like, does this hold up? This like formed because she's a comedian. She runs the National Comedy Theater. And then I'm a filmmaker. And so like the things, it's like Three Amigos was formative to me as like a comedy director. And like this, and the same way with like her like comedy sensibilities, like what would like Raiders of the Lost Ark was the movie that kind of programmed me of what is a movie. Sure. And then also like it sucked me in terms of like what a director does. Yeah. It's like I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark and then we didn't have a VHS player, but for some reason it was on TV and I recorded like just the audio of like the bar gun battle. And so I would just listen to that over and over again. And that kind of programmed me of like, what is sound design?
Huh.
You know, and just like little weird things like that, like having the record of the soundtrack and then having like the coloring books and then having all this like extra material, but not the movie.
Sure.
You know, and just like the elements of filmmaking just kind of like all around it. Like I only had the DVD extras. That was effectively it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I got this DVD at Goodwill, but it only has the second disc. Who the fuck's gonna watch it in full screen? Man, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's a good one to have as your formative one.
Yeah, right.
My first crazy backstory that I'm not going to tell right now, but I was gifted a revolver from one of my employers.
This is going a very strange
With a
direction.
single bullet.
This sounds like the beginning of a movie.
I was gifted a firearm, a revolver from one of my employers, and he was just like, we were at a shop, and he's just like, okay, what do you want? And I made a beeline for it because they had the same model revolver that Indy's got in Raiders of the Lost Ark, a Smith & Wesson 1917 45 ACP revolver, and I brandished that thing so many times, trying to quick draw it in my apartment,
Throwing it across the room
it's
on accident.
yeah, trying to get that right, you know, like nonchalantness of I have the runs and let's just fucking do this thing.
I'm glad we didn't get one
You
of
went
those.
full character and you got the runs.
Yep.
I'm glad we didn't get one of those
He went
stories
full
of like the,
method acting.
Yeah, exactly.
the dude drawing his pistol from retention and shooting himself in the leg.
I'm glad that, yeah. Well, and this would have been, how long ago was this?
10 years ago.
Last week.
10
years ago, 10 years
so
ago.
before we really got like Florida Man stories on the
Yeah, and like I was, you know, my family. Another crazy backstory. My family on my dad's side, a lot of the men in our family were gunsmiths and tinkerers.
interesting.
And so I was always like raised around firearm safety and, you know, that kind of thing. And I was in the process of being certified as like a range master and stuff like that.
Okay.
So when it comes to me handling firearms, it's probably a little safer than if Tyler handled an NES Zapper.
That's fair. That's fair.
You'll burn your eye out, kid.
So how often do you guys do the podcast?
We're relatively lazy. We only do two a month.
Okay.
So we do every 2 weeks.
Did you guys talk about UHF last month?
No, but that's definitely on the short list. It's like we get a lot of people. It's like, you know, why haven't you done this movie? It's like, come on, we haven't even done like 100 episodes.
A lot of movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of
There's a lot of
episodes.
80s.
and then it's like some that are just so classic that you just can't rush to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, it took us a year to get to Raiders Lost Ark, and like another big one for me is Big Trouble in Little China, and so we're gonna do that for like the second anniversary.
That's what I say. You have a second anniversary coming.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we haven't done a Star Wars movie yet, but yeah, you can't like go to. You've got to kind of pace yourself, but
Gotta
also
keep the audience wanting more.
Wait, you haven't done a
Exactly, yeah.
Star Wars movie?
we did.
Why
do,
not?
We did do Wrathacon though. We just recently did
Yeah.
Wrathacon.
Yeah. Also, Neko is releasing a bunch of Star Trek 2
Oh, cool.
figures. And I want to get the Ricardo Montalban. Because, you know, like it's basically the action figure looks like this. And it's my favorite.
It's his real chest.
Yeah.
It's his real chest.
I thought it was fake for a little bit when I
Oh
was a
yeah,
teenager.
no. All children thought it was fake. It's like that cannot be real. But
Impossible.
no, he was a virile dude.
He was ripped and he would sell the fuck out of some Corinthian leather.
So, of the movies that you've covered so far, what has been the most, upon revisiting, surprising kind of like, oh shit, this did not age well.
Right. I guess the one that I disliked the most was Young Guns. Like I really liked Young Guns when I was young, but then now I realize that all the characters are idiots. Like every bad thing that happens to them is their own fault. It's like
sometimes makes a movie more interesting.
yeah, it's like
burn after reading.
it's like literally.
Fucking love that movie.
You know, the comment I kept using was like the cast of Entourage had better decision making skills if you drop them into the Old West than these characters. But I guess the most controversial one in terms
I don't want to
was
see that movie
was
now.
Top Gun.
Yeah, I don't like Top Gun.
Yeah, Top Gun. Like Chrissy
You
grew
don't
up.
like playing with the boys, dude?
Chrissy grew up on Top Gun, and she had some major problems with it. Like it's just like Maverick is just literally he is the villain of the movie. It's
great, right?
Yeah, and then like Val Kilmer, who's like the antagonist. If you rewatch it, I was just saying, it's like if you rewatch it, watch it like Val Kilmer is the main character. Because every time he kind of gets in Tom Cruise's face, he's saying like, "You're unsafe.
You're really unsafe, and
You are putting people's lives at risk.
It's like literally, you're unsafe. You're putting people's. It's like he comes in and he talks to the boss. I have a concern about his safety. And it's just like he's never being like a super dick about it.
Shut up.
It's like an allegory for Tom Cruise in real life. When we were young and impressionable, we thought Tom Cruise was a great dude, but now that we're old and wizened, there are obviously some issues there.
Yeah, now that we are adults with responsibility, like all the things he does are terrible, and he's constantly rewarded by them.
Yeah.
I think that like the 80s were definitely a time where we were kind of putting the bad boy on the pedestal.
Yeah, the
we were
Maverick.
celebrating the bad boy, the guy who would smash the rules and like just put caution to the wind. And, he's a bad boy. But
He's a dedicated cop. He doesn't play by the rules.
It sounds like you're reading a progress report for like a child.
maybe
Your
he's not
son is a bad boy.
Maybe he's
Playing with
kind of
the
a
bad
dick
boys.
who's putting people's lives at
It
risk.
could also be like our age too, as we go from like kids to adults. It's like there would be a lot of paperwork with that.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. And it sucks because I used to really like Top Gun, and I still watch it sometimes just because the soundtrack's cool.
Yeah.
And I love playing Afterburner.
It's so well made.
Yeah.
I love playing Afterburner.
It is a beautiful film. And I mean, my personal favorite character has always been Goose. I like, no joke, have early memories of, being like 6 or 7 years old crying when Goose died.
Just blame it on the Goose.
Like, I watched it over and over and over again, and every single time I cried when Goose died.
Yeah, I saw it in IMAX. Like they were showing it at IMAX, and so getting to see Goose's head hit that canopy, and also a 40-foot like volleyball scene, where it's just like, wow, I can see everything. Wow, and I like
They really are playing with the boys.
I like that Goose, being the only dad, was appropriately the only dad on set.
The only dad bod.
Yeah, he had a dad bod. He was, the
only one who wasn't- yeah.
and like, he was trying to keep it casual. Meanwhile, Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise were trying as hard as they could to not fuck each other. Like it was.
Yeah.
The testosterone was
look,
It was
palpable.
a very warm theater.
As much as Iceman may complain, even Iceman loves a Maverick.
Yes, he does. I mean,
Sounds like the
Dan and I
tagline
love
from the
Mavericks.
movie.
That's why we play Mega Man X.
It's the Brokeback Mountain cut of Top Gun. Even Iceman loves a Maverick.
touch gun.
So I know for Halloween you guys did Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
And you recently did Wrath of Khan. What can you give us a peek into what movies you're covering in the
What are some future
Yeah,
episodes?
what's coming up?
Well, we definitely on the short list right now is Aliens. Because Alien is, I think, 79.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Twins, which I was surprised is in the 80s. Like it just squeaked by.
Twins?
Yeah, Twins.
Was that 89?
Yeah, it was
must
like,
have been.
it must have been like late 89 or something like that. Because it feels so 90s to me.
Yeah, it,
like
like-
The Wizard. I was surprised that The Wizard is 80s.
Is it serious?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
89.
Yeah.
No
89.
shit.
Because that
Yeah,
was the
Twins
year
is
that
88.
That was when,
came out.
that was when, because they
looks so
showed the
80 it looks
first
so
gameplay
90s.
of Super Mario
Yeah.
Brothers 3 in that game
California.
or in that movie.
Yeah.
California.
California. I got the ninja scroll in the turtle bus.
And the power glove.
Bo Bridges. Bo Bridges just fucking. Look, I'm cool. What's up? What's up, Gamers TM?
Yeah.
And Jenny Lewis was in it.
Yeah, I love how like the old guys play stuff like that.
Yeah.
In reality, it's just like
no idea what he's doing.
Okay, boomer. Topical.
When I think back to those old movies, there seems to be a clear, at least in my head, and maybe I'm just imagining it, but there seems to be a clear visual difference between films that were produced in the 80s and films that were produced in the 90s. And similarly, films that were produced in the 70s feel like they were made in the fucking 70s.
Yeah,
all the way
absolutely.
up through 79.
And
and then all of a sudden 80s hit and there's a hard cut to just some different fucking look.
Yeah, it's always really interesting when you're limited to a specific decade that there's movies like an 80, 81 that just feel so 70s.
Yeah.
That there's so many, you don't realize that there's so many stylistic in terms of like cinematography and art direction and just storytelling style that, when you're in it, it's like, no, this is a great movie. This is my idea for a movie, but you're still rooted in what is popular now and what is acceptable for what is looking cool and all the other things. That everyone is influenced by what is now. And so as a filmmaker, you're like competing with what is hip now.
Sure.
Or what is like a nice look now. And so it's like there's always this bleed over to where it's like, because it's the stuff we covered in the 80s, like 80 and 81 just felt so 70s.
Kind of like Creep Show is the most 70s horror 80s movie ever because of that fucking disco scene with
I suppose.
I've always argued that the first 3 years of every decade is still technically the previous decade.
Yeah.
But
80 to 83 still the 70s. 90 to 93 still the 80s.
T2 does look like a 90s movie.
T2 does look like a 90s movie, and similarly, Alien looks like an 80s movie.
Yeah.
Like there are certain ones that you can look at that are coming at the end of their decade or whatever that seem to set the stage for what's coming up.
And it's usually the
Sonic the Hedgehog is next year.
Oh shit.
It's usually the movies that have like the highest level of equipment that are the most modern.
Sure.
And then like the independent films that are having to use old cameras and old stocks and just can't like afford the cutting edge stuff that looks like 5 years back.
Yeah. You look at stuff like sometimes that works out extremely well artistically, especially in the horror genre. You look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like the lower fidelity didn't detract from the incredible shots, the like great cinematography, and Tobe Hooper's a fucking genius. Like that felt, appropriate for that film.
Right. Yeah, there's a gritty and grain to it.
I've never actually seen all of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is
really
surprisingly, yeah.
It is a classic.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. It's one of those things that like, there was a great portion of the last couple of years that I spent time catching up on horror with Danny, and it was just one right after the other, and we got to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I think we were kind of burned out, and so we were like, one of those ones we'll watch some afternoon we're hanging out, and I haven't gotten to it, but I need to at some point.
It is a classic and based on a true story.
Based on a true story.
As in, they took a few ideas from Ed Gein and made it a thing. It made it into something that was absolutely not whatsoever.
But it was technically based.
I feel like
actually, it's based on the same
have
true
existed
story.
on the planet.
It's based on the same true story as Silence of the Lambs.
I feel like that's what other people think my life is. It's based on a true story. Brooks Wilson.
Yeah, both Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Silence of the Lambs latched on one little thing in Ed Gein and then just blew it into something else, which was enough for them to put based on true story at the beginning of a movie.
I prefer 3 on a meat hook myself.
I wonder what's the minimal amount of a story that you can include to be technically allowed to publish.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, it's based on a true story.
The universe exists. It's based on a true story.
Wait,
There was somebody in this named John, just like in the real version.
Okay, all right. I think one of my favorite, based on a true story that's totally false, Bloodsport.
I've never seen Bloodsport.
It's one I've actually seen.
Yeah,
Up is down is up, left is right. What is happening?
yeah, because like apparently the guy they based the story off of just made up a bunch of shit.
Oh yeah.
Shit, what is his name?
Based on a lie.
Based on some stories that this asshole wrote down.
And I'm willing to wager that because Jean-Claude Van Damme played an American in Bloodsport is why he played Guile in the Street Fighter movie.
Well, he's clearly American.
Clearly.
Obviously.
But we could all
Look at his resume.
He wrote a short story called True Story, and then Bloodsport, based on a true story.
Based on the hit-selling True Story.
Based on true, but the true is spelled wrong. It's TROO. True TM story.
Asterisk.
So, in addition to the podcast, you're a filmmaker as well.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you have
You make the pornos or what, man? Like,
Yeah, that could mean a lot out here. I mean,
Right, yeah.
Scottsdale is
So-
supposedly the porn capital of the country.
Right.
What? I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
shit, man, we're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, so I do short films and web series, but I also do, in terms of my day job, I do like freelance corporate and commercial video.
Oh, right on. What are some of the web series that you've done?
So the big one is I did a sci-fi comedy web series about the worst starship crew in the galaxy called Voyage Trekkers. And so we did 2 seasons of that, so about 20 episodes.
That was before Discovery, right?
Yeah, it was before the Orville. Yeah, so we did the Voyage Trekkers. The web series was about 2011 to about 2014, and then in 2015 we actually did 10 PSAs for the Department of Health. For Voyage Trekkers that were anti-smoking PSAs.
Oh, no shit.
And so, but the whole thing, it was like the like the end of the G.I. Joe cartoons where it's like, stop dicking around with power lines.
Yeah.
Like a guy would like glide in and like, so it was like that. So it was, we did 10 legitimate anti-smoking PSAs for the Arizona Department of Health.
That's awesome.
With our sci-fi characters coming in and stopping kids from smoking, and then like so we were able to like maintain the irreverent comedy of the characters because they're idiots.
Yeah.
But so it was a balance between, you can't denigrate the message because they're paying the bills,
right?
But you can denigrate the messengers, and so they would always show up and then fuck something up.
Yeah,
you know, and they would embarrass themselves in front of kids.
Him.
Right? Or they,
Sorry, my vape was set from stun to kill.
Yeah. Or like the kids would like screw with them, you know.
Yeah.
And so that was ridiculous. And then about, was it last year or was it more than a year? We did a half-hour television pilot.
Oh, cool.
For the web series. It was self-produced.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, so basically on our YouTube page, Voyage Trekkers, you can see the half-hour episode.
Nice.
And that one because the web series, they're only like 5 minutes long each. We wanted to create, kind of like a big, like, what would it look like if it was like a half-hour Netflix show or something like that. So
nice. Are you trying to shop that around, or was that just something that you created to be like, what would it look like in this format?
It was kind of, we did an Indiegogo to raise the money originally for a feature, and we didn't raise enough. So we decided to do a half-hour episode because we raised. That's how much we raised. But
It just cuts off at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
I wrote a 2-hour film. You just get the first half hour. That's all you paid for.
Right, exactly.
Just pull
It
the
just
money
stops
back
mid Holy Grail ending, dude. We ran out of money.
The truth is that that would have been, if something would have happened or if it would have opened up opportunities, that would have been bonus. We really kind of wanted just to end more or less on a high note.
Sure.
The thing. The truth is that actually getting like something picked up as a show, you have to be in that community already. They're not going to they don't know me, and I have never worked in television, so they're not going to give me a show. The people who get shows are people who've literally been in TV for 10 years.
Yeah.
And they're ready to move on to that next level.
I guess you could say they have tenure.
There we
That's
go.
not even a joke. That's just what that means.
It literally is.
Back on course.
And so we did take it through film festivals, and that was definitely fun. And at this point, just doing other things. I'm working on a feature film script that we want to try to shoot as like a micro budget next year.
Nice.
So. But we had written a feature version. That's what we tried to do, the Indiegogo thing. But it's like you sometimes it's like, oh yeah, we can pull this off. We did this in the web series, and before you know it, it's like, oh no, this would be like a $2 million movie. There's no way we can do this. To where it's like, that whole idea of like, oh, just write what you want, no limits, and then we'll bring it down. Like that's impossible. There's so many times that I've just written myself into it.
Just do what everyone else has to do with their lives. Compromise all of your dreams.
Right, exactly.
No, what you need to do, you gotta learn some things from the movie Primer. Work real lean. That was a $7,000 budget, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
fucking insane.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you'd have more time if you just kind of commit to the time cube thing.
Mm-hmm.
The time cube.
Time cube.
So this time around, I wrote something that was specifically is accomplishable in kind of a micro budget level. So
right on. Well, the Topless Robot Crew is all available as douchebag extras.
I'm going to be on TV. Excellent.
I'm going to be a TV star.
Dan is very good at hating being alive.
He's actually a very good crash test dummy. Slash cadaver.
Brooks.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
Okay.
Tyler is great at getting sprayed in the face.
Okay.
It's kind of our go-to
Is it
punishment
that
point.
I'm in the right.
Yes.
If Scottsdale's number one porn city in the world, I'm in the right place, baby.
The reason he's the best human punching bag is because he also cries when you hit him.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes when you
I
don't.
wibble, I wobble, and I break down cry.
And I am blue.
Is he our Kenny? Excellent. Is he just our Kenny then? Is he eventually going to die every episode?
I mean, may as well. He is our Kenny.
That's fair.
At first, I thought you said, "Is he our Kelly?"
No.
Well, that's just insulting.
So, I suppose we ought to touch on some news that has occurred this week. I am dying to talk about Death Stranding.
Okay.
So let's avoid it completely and talk about in-jokes.
So Death Stranding came out on Friday. I, of course, bought it because I, like everyone else, was very curious as to what exactly this thing was going to be. It is...
An entertainment product.
Yeah, it's
interactive media.
All the memes that were like, when they had screenshots of Norman Reedus with like a stack of shit on his back and he's running through the wilderness, and they're like, Amazon Prime, the game. They're right.
Yeah.
That is what the game is. You're going from point A to point B, making deliveries.
Here's your
And
baby.
chugging Monster Energy along the way.
God. So what cracks me up? The product placements are terrible.
I know. I love it.
When you take a shit in this game, the shield around the thing that you're sitting down on is an advertisement for Norman Reedus's AMC reality series.
Oh my god.
This is gonna look so good in like 6 months.
Oh yeah.
Just 6 months. Just when it's slightly out of date enough.
When you're sitting in the private room where you go to rest up and stuff like that, you've got the option to like look at your action figures that are on the head of the bed. And it has the most awkward transition ever when you do that, because while you're deciding what to do when you're in this private room, Norman Reedus is just sitting expectantly at the edge of the bed, just kind of like hunched over, cross fingers kind of thing. And so there's some amount of idle animation when you pan around the room. And sometimes it'll be this awkward like point at the thing that you're like kind of looking at. And sometimes, so like, when the toys are on the head of the bed behind him, and you can look at them for no fucking reason, and when you do, the camera comes in real close on his face, and he does like a Vanna reveal to the toys, and then you can kind of pan over the toys.
This is a strange direction for Kojima because all of his stories are really grounded in reality.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everyone who's surprised by what they're seeing in Death Stranding, remember, this is a Hideo Kojima product.
So I feel like the most normal game that he worked on was probably just because I think the first Metal Gear, like Metal Gear,
probably. The table in your private room is very gratuitously stacked with Monster Energy drink cans. And your canteen in the game, it tells you, automatically refills with Monster Energy drink in order for you to regain your stamina. The way that it refills, it says that it refills through contact with the rainfall, which is timefall in this game, which if you get this rain on you, you age and die. So I find it interesting that
you can chug it.
That Monster it can convert this liquid that will age you to death into Monster Energy drink in your canteen through contact, and Monster is okay with this sponsorship.
It sounds like a really deep metaphor.
Monster Energy drink helps you burn the candle at both ends.
Monster wants all gamers to die.
Right. I knew it. Conspiracy propagated by the deep state.
Now, don't get me wrong, it is a gorgeous game. It is an absolutely gorgeous game. But what it amounts to in gameplay is balance simulator. Because if your pack is improperly balanced, or if you're carrying too much weight, you actually have to shift your weight left or right.
Is it like Desert Bus?
Otherwise, you'll fall over and damage the stuff that you're carrying.
It's like perpetually being in a grind on Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But you can avoid that, though, move slower by just whenever you walk around, hold down L2 and R2. That's it. You can avoid, a lot of that. Because he haunches up, pulls onto his backpack straps, and really secures himself for the walk, brother.
He gets ready to take all of the grocery bags from the car to the house in one go.
This is my first day in middle school, and I gotta make it count.
I am 6 or 7 hours into this game, and
so has it started yet?
How many times have you seen the words "a Hideo Kojima production"?
oh my God, is it
everywhere?
It is everywhere.
I love we let Kojima get away with things that any other human being would lose their career for doing.
Absolutely.
I don't know why. I still love everything he does, even though he's a fucking crazy person.
Every time you're introduced to a new NPC, it says the name of the actor playing the character. So it says the character's name and then the name of the actor playing the character underneath the name.
Why?
When you're walking through the world and background music comes on, it has the name of the song and the artist who performed it on the screen constantly. There are small decisions like that I am not okay with. Like those sorts of decisions.
Did you ever play Phantom Pain?
No.
He did that every single mission ran the full credits and said like a Hideo Kojima production.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Like it was like you were watching an individual episode and he wanted you to know every single time that like I did this, I did this. Also, fuck Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But the story is intriguing enough that I want to keep going for no other reason than to, find out what BTs are and
drink pee with Conan
understand BBs and stuff like that. So like the Bridge Baby, they find, like the way that they're procured is from a still mother. So they're harvested from still mothers and then put into a womb-like, thing. And if you're walking through water, if you submerge over Bridge Baby, it gets stressed out and you actually have to like look down and detach it from your body and rock your controller in order to calm it down.
Kojima.
This game sounds like my nightmare.
It is a weird one. But when you're in BT encounters, it is legitimately terrifying when you're being engaged by the enemy. You have to sneak through these areas where they are, and if one discovers you, all of a sudden there's like these black liquid spikes that make their way towards you, and if you end up getting hit by that, you get caught into this pool of black where these bodies are coming out of it and pulling you down into that blackness. So you have to struggle against that, and if you fail, everything around you gets very black liquid, and I mean like elements of the terrain start sinking, and this big dolphin with like a Cthulhu face is hunting you down. And so like when you're at that point, it's legitimately horrifying because you're slowed down because you're moving through this liquid black stuff. You get onto what seems like a stable rock higher place, and then that just starts sinking. And so you have to try and make your way to the edge of this big black vastness in order to actually disengage that encounter. But no joke, it's intense and scary.
Kojima has made a lot of money with these projects, like for himself. I think he can afford a therapist. It sounds like Mr. Kojima might have some unresolved issues that we need to discuss.
Everything I've heard about this game just makes me want to play less and less.
The final boss is Kojima's dad.
Like literally, I have not heard a single thing that makes me want to play this game.
I would
other
probably
than just the curiosity factor.
I would probably be just as content in watching only the story pertinent elements of it in a Let's Play format. That's it. I will happily let someone else play that game for me. Oh yeah, insane. And so obviously it's Kojima. He's going to make a lot of subversive, comments on culture.
Subversive team.
The way that you're rewarded for your deliveries is likes.
What?
Yeah, so like you get likes from the dudes who you're delivering shit to, and it's a multiplayer game-ish. Where when you build something or drop something in the environment, you can put up signs that warn other players that they're going to encounter. So very, Dark Souls-y.
Yeah.
But you can build things, and those things will be attributed. Whoops. Well, that's fun.
Hell yeah.
Those things will be attributed to you as a player, and other players may encounter the things that you build that help you along the way. So like that'll be a recharging station for your vehicle. That'll be a bridge.
A sign with a picture of Dick Butt.
That'll be a post box. These things can be built by players, and other players may encounter them, and those other players can like those things when they approach them, and then you get that like, as those likes aren't a currency, they're experience points.
Okay.
We're going to pay you an experience. Yeah, you've heard that one a lot, huh?
I don't have any money to give.
Right.
But yeah, it's interesting.
Also, this could be the start of Hideo Kojima being the video game Adam Sandler, where he just makes things with his friends.
I'm going on video game vacation.
Let me just get all of my famous friends together and we'll make a video game.
Yeah, right.
A video game.
And a video game.
It sounds like a game. Like, it's like one of the things, like when I dabbled in just doing a little, like making my own games and stuff, it's like you always have these grand ideas and you have to cut some of those ideas. Because, okay, when you think of them, they're great, but then you talk about them with somebody, and they're like, no, that's kind of stupid.
Kojima's the guy who doesn't cut those ideas out. No. He refuses to compromise his artistic integrity.
So wait,
Like George Lucas in the prequels, there's no one saying no to him.
Yeah, right.
So you know the last game
Midichlorians,
that I did,
likes.
which was a prequel to like the first game that I did. Well, check this out. So what if we gave that guy a mustache, and all of a sudden he was really old? And yeah, okay, great, Mr. Kojima, fantastic.
It is.
I like the accent that you gave Kojima here.
I'm just excited to see when the Death Stranding lore crosses over with Penguin Adventure, another Hideo Kojima product.
It was a very interesting. It has been a very interesting experience. I haven't decided if I'm tired of it yet.
Which is remarkable because you've played it for how many hours?
6 or 7.
So more than 15 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
Should we be
Weirdly,
concerned?
a game that I bought at the same time as Death Stranding was Control, which is honestly one of the best games I think I've ever played.
I've heard a lot of good things
Is that
about
the one
it,
with
and I really want to play.
the crazy gun? What was this game?
It's you are looking for information about what happened to your brother. You go into the Federal Bureau of Control, and there's a lot of spatial shifting of your environment and stuff like that. It's super interesting.
Renew.
Super interesting. And there are these objects of power, and you become the new director of the Federal Bureau of Control merely by picking up the service revolver that was held by the previous director that he used to kill himself. It was an object of power. And so you become the chosen one by going through this. You pick up the gun and you go through this trial in the astral plane, and you have to choose to be the chosen one. You pick, the gun up on the astral plane, and you become the new director of the Federal Bureau of Control.
Rad.
And it is a very cool fucking game. Very, very cool. The lore that they've created with it, it's very, FBI, supernaturally kind of like really neat environment. And they really fuck with you a lot, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm dying to get back into that, but I wanted to give a lot more time to Death Stranding to see if it became
It was worth
game.
the hype. Yeah, right. Hour 7 of the look. I was able to control him for a moment.
Hideo Kojima doesn't make games; he makes experiences.
Yeah, okay. Listen, man. PT was really trying to say some stuff. Okay.
He's evolved past the constraints of game.
Well, I mean,
I have transcended the
he-
media.
He did mention that he wants to make movies, and like honestly, I
And that
feel
would
like
make a
explain why
freaking
Norman
movie.
Reedus is in it, Guillermo del Toro is in it, Mads Mikkelsen is in it.
someone just fucking just do it. Just take one for the team and like invite him on set to like direct a movie and make sure that all of the copies that he gets say that he directed the film.
Though
It sounds like you're going to unplug his controller and let.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna plug it into the second port.
I don't think you could ever make him fall for something like that.
Yeah.
His desire for creative control is too powerful.
I mean, he does know that I like Castlevania.
I would love to see like an actual, game with Mads Mikkelsen in it. Because fuck, man, he is an emotive, fairly uncomfortable human being.
Yes, he's a creepy motherfucker.
And I think it would be incredible to have a proper game made with him in it. I mean, he was by far, he is Hannibal to me. Fucking Anthony Hopkins did fine. Brian Cox did fine.
Did you just say Anthony Hopkins
Sir
did
Anthony
fine?
Hopkins.
Fine.
He did fine. Okay, continue.
Comparing Mads Mikkelsen's Hannibal in the series Hannibal to Anthony Hopkins was too over the top. Hannibal is this incredibly put together murderer. So, like a true sociopath. And a ridiculously intelligent true sociopath. And Mads Mikkelsen embodies that.
I do
Well,
agree.
I ain't getting on no plane, Hannibal. I know that was a really terrible, terrible one.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Hannibal, the General Hannibal joke there.
Well, you know, I try to plan these out because I love it when a plan comes together, but don't try to box me in, man.
I was ready for it. I was like,
Am I the biggest A-Team fan here?
We should all just wait for the comedy reboot of Hannibal with Hannibal Buress as the starring character.
Whack! Like Hannibal Buress is the hero that we need by being the one who brought up the Cosby stuff and brought it to most people's attention.
Yeah, and that's not whack.
But also, he's hilarious.
Yes, he is also hilarious.
He's very funny. Speaking of things that aren't funny, I know the May Nintendo and
Yeah.
And when I first read that,
Is it May or Mai?
me?
Me my mo.
Me Mao. Me Mao.
Meow. Fucking meow. I think it because it's MAI, right?
MEI?
MAI.
Oh, MAI.
Yeah, it's MAI.
Pretty sure it's Mai.
Oh, like Mai Tai.
So then it's mine.
Maytay?
Apparently, she's a little too booby for Nintendo.
This is a game for everyone. Quote. Certainly, it has nothing to do with the fact that that character has been used as kind of a symbol of protest in Hong Kong, but you know, it's because of the boobs.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to Bayonetta.
that's the thing that makes no sense about that argument.
Yeah.
Well,
They
so-
put Bayonetta, who uses her hair that's encasing her body as a weapon, like
I
Look,
fight
if you attack hard enough, you're just naked.
yes,
Yeah.
I saw some strange stuff when people were talking about how the decency laws are used to make the assessment of those ratings. And one of the big tests apparently is if you flip this character upside down, will we see their underwear?
Really?
And that's one of the other big things. Like that's something that they get judged on, whether or not the character is quote unquote decent.
Huh.
And because of the way that character's dressed, she doesn't meet that qualification. So I don't even think it's the boobs. I think it's other things because like it's just very strange decency laws.
Really?
Yes, like Hong Kong.
The way they're assessing it is kind of stupid. Because, you know, decency laws are fucking dumb.
Yeah, I'm going to keep saying the word Hong Kong because I wasn't here that episode. You guys got banned from China. And I need to make sure that I am also banned from China. Yeah, it's the decency law thing is so dumb because, like, are they doing that? Are putting that same kind of scrutiny on male characters in weird outfits? Or is it just the
don't
ladies?
you know that only female chests are bad? Like those are the only evil
Listen, man, everyone
and
likes
only
boobs.
female underwear.
and female underwear. Yeah,
Why can't they wear comical boxer shorts like Mario does?
Mario has been seen in his underwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
and without
I
a
don't
shirt
know.
on.
Without a shirt on.
I already said decency laws are stupid. I'm not defending them.
Free the pixel.
But also, and we briefly talked about this, you know, whatever about the decency laws, and I get that she's one of the iconic characters of the franchise, but there's just so many better choices
Yeah.
for characters from that series, like more interesting choices.
Yeah.
Evil Iori. Give me Evil Iori, please, for the love of fuck.
Shulk was actually one that I was going to be bringing up as well
yeah.
on Smash. Like he's got his alternate costume where
Those are
he's literally
smooth
just
trunks.
in like a freaking banana hammock.
Gross.
Gus. If you flip Rosalina upside down, you see Mario Galaxy 3.
I kind of want a Mario Galaxy 3.
I definitely want a Mario Galaxy.
It'll come in 10 years when we're not expecting it.
Yeah, right. So, you being a filmmaker, do you what's your thought on games? Are you also a gamer, or is it?
Yeah,
Video games are dumb. Why am I here?
He just stands
is this
up and
podcast
leaves.
almost over? I was told that it was.
I thought we were going to talk about film.
I mainly like first person RPGs like Fallout and like Outer Realms, although I haven't played that yet. I got boxed into an Xbox from Halo, and now just it's like there's some people who own both, and I've just ended up with an Xbox in terms of that direction. The last couple of games I played, I think, were No Man's Sky and Sekiro.
Oh yeah,
No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's
probably going to be the only person that you encounter who is going to smile and rejoice at the mention of the name No Man's Sky.
Norman Sky.
There is another.
Two people playing this
He
game.
said there was no multiplayer in No Man's Sky.
And then Tyler
definitely
grabs
a
his
gamer.
copy of No Man's Sky, and it just like does like that broom at the end of that terrible movie.
So yeah, I'm definitely a gamer, but I've
Yes.
also got huge blind spots, like the PlayStation only stuff, the Nintendo stuff a lot, except for the old school Nintendo stuff.
Sure.
And then lately I've been playing. Do you guys remember from like 10 years ago the online game City of Heroes?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So fans brought it back. There's like a server, a free to play server that is fan hosted and hasn't been brought down yet. And I've been just addicted to that.
Banhannah Falls.
Yeah, I went to like 10 years ago. I just went down a wormhole with that, and I've just fallen right back.
My ex-wife was a heavy role player in City of Heroes. Like had a full RP guild and all that kind of stuff.
Did she play a citizen?
Yeah, right.
The citizen only build.
I never really got super into it. I played a bit of City of Heroes and City of Villains, but it was never like a super big thing that drew me in.
That was one of the few MMOs that I fairly enjoyed. Like I'd never been an MMO guy.
Yeah, me neither.
But that one I definitely enjoyed.
Just the way that so it's known by having this huge robust costume creation system, and so you can really just create like virtually anything
as
that
long
you
as
want
it's
to do,
not a
as long as you're not
DC.
violating.
And everyone is Iron Man.
No, I'm Iron Man. Look at my beard.
It's Incredible Hulks and Deadpools right now. So
yeah.
actually, you know what?
How
It's
No
original.
DC characters
Any Jokers?
because DC.
You know, it's actually so many Doctor Stranges more than like anything
Really?
else. Yeah.
Well, I mean, PC gamers, comics that no one reads.
I played like evil version of Iron Man, otherwise known as Crony Dark.
Iron Manger. Speaking of Halo, though, wasn't I think I read somewhere that they're resuming shooting on the Halo show that's coming out?
Oh, is that so?
I hope it follows the books, not the games. Actually, the Halo books were, I think, the only video game books that I read.
I read the Doom books.
I didn't know those existed.
Yeah, there's some Doom books that I read in the 90s.
Were they bad?
Actually, I enjoyed them, but it was the 90s.
Sick. Dude, this character in this book says fuck like 10 times.
I don't know how, like, I never got into Halo, so I don't know if there's, I mean, Xbox, people seem to be enraptured by the Halo story.
I loved the Halo story when I was when I was a kid.
The first three,
Yeah, the first three, it was cool. Most people that didn't really get into the games knew it more as a multiplayer juggernaut. that was just the staple of all birthday parties and sleepovers. And
LAN parties, brother.
LAN parties, exactly.
Yeah.
But the story itself was really cool.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed playing the campaign because I didn't even want to play with.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like,
we could have played together.
well, another time, another life.
I would just get trounced by 10-year-olds, and so it was always
Welcome to the internet,
yeah,
kid.
exactly.
My brother was always better at it than I was, and he's younger than me.
Do you just respond on message board? Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
at least I have a mortgage.
yeah, exactly.
Get wrecked.
I'm gonna buy your house and demolish it.
You're gonna
I
have
make
to
more
rent.
money than your parents.
You're gonna have to rent in an area with low network speeds.
Nice kill, Timmy. One day maybe I might come back from getting cigarettes.
Dad.
Oh, you're gonna cheat like that? Well, that's fine. I'm just gonna change all the policies, in government. Fuck you over. Well,
Yeah, I got into the Gears of War story a bit. That I think that was pretty engaging. But I've just never been a Halo dude.
honestly, like beyond the scope of personal nostalgia and all that entails, I feel like the story for Halo isn't anything super special. I was hoping.
Didn't we already get it in Elysium?
Yes. I feel like though that I would have rather just seen it as a movie or a couple of movies, like just do the first game or whatever. Maybe they'll do a Gears of War thing.
That would be pretty cool.
I am waiting for, and I feel like it's coming because we got The Witcher coming out.
That's coming out soon. That's
Which
like-
is actually looking really good.
I know,
The most
it's
recent
incredible.
trailer makes it look great.
I still only feel slightly bad about making fun of Henry Cavill and his
only slightly.
his
Damn
little-
it! I wanted to hate him.
So did I.
Yeah.
I'm still totally cool with hating him for not knowing, for feeling threatened at the prospect of hitting on women. I feel perfectly fine with hating him for missing the nuances of human behavior.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he's actually a robot. He's a droid programmed.
He's
to
from
act.
Krypton.
On Krypton, we do not have Tinder.
But
the show looks great.
yeah, the show looks
Comes out December
outstanding.
20th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
man.
apparently it is, and I think
Wait,
we've probably
wait.
covered it in the past. It is based on the books, not the game.
It is coming. I've read a few of the books and they're pretty good. But it's coming out on December 20th.
Yep.
Isn't that the same day that Star Wars is coming out?
I don't know.
I feel like anyone that tries to put anything out with Star Wars on a day that Star Wars comes out,
Yeah, that is the exact same day.
Wow.
well, they're doomed.
That's not smart.
I mean, not necessarily.
I guess it's-
so. Their first week on a streaming service is going to hurt. Ooch.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good point. Also, I mean, I don't know how The Witcher is being marketed to other regions as well, like places that don't necessarily care as much about Star Wars, like most other
Yeah.
places.
What are they thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. It's on a streaming service. They've already got your money, so they don't they're gonna see viewer spikes, I guess. But it's not a money game.
They almost get more time with streaming. It's this is something that I listened to a lot in terms of podcasts about how the industry is changing. How about the internet has changed all forms of entertainment so dramatically.
oh yeah,
But
Just like, how much they get this word of mouth thing more with the streaming services because they don't blitz them with all this advertising. They don't go for like the movies, which you need this huge spike for opening because the tail of a movie is a lot shorter now. But you get some discovery because they're going to keep it on their platform. If it's their A product, they're going to keep it on the front page for forever.
I think Stranger Things is probably a good example of that because when that first came out, I was hyped. You were probably hyped.
I was
right?
hyped. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You don't care.
Jasmine didn't know I was hyped and started watching it without me. And then she was like, she messages me, I'm at work. She's like, oh, you have to watch this new show, Stranger Things. I'm like, I know. I've been waiting for it.
But as far as the as far as the mainstream buzz is concerned, I feel like it took a little bit just a little bit of time for Stranger Things to be like, for like my parents to be like, oh yeah, Stranger Things,
Sure.
you know,
Sure.
and like it's, you know, and I feel like if that's the case with The Witcher, then we're still gonna get The Witcher.
Yeah,
And we're
like
still gonna get probably okay Star Wars movie.
those people, and never mind that those people are gonna, you know, go out and watch Star Wars, and what are they gonna do when they come home? They're gonna open Netflix.
Or when they're standing in line.
you know, like when you're lying in bed when you get home, you know, or whatever, you're gonna fucking turn on Netflix and you're gonna see what's there. Like at least that's the way. I've got all the streaming services, so when I'm looking for something to do, I just kind of fire up one of them.
Yeah,
Don't
kick it
see
on.
anything interesting, fire up the next one. Don't see anything interesting, fire up the next one.
Yeah, and
whatever.
And that word of mouth deal, as far as like, I've been watching a lot more TV lately in the last like 2 months or so.
Me too.
Partially because of you guys, partially because of a couple of coworkers of mine that were just like, "Oh, have you seen this thing? It's crazy!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that it came out. Like, it's actually good. I'll check it out." And you know, so there's that delay. You know, I do like that change though. It feels kind of nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not necessarily missing out on something.
Yeah, also
Right.
because there's so much stuff, you know, that you can't see everything.
Yeah.
It's almost kind of like that fear of missing out is subsided a little bit, just because there's so much stuff.
Yeah, it's,
I feel like subsided is not the right word. It just became so overwhelming that it just faded into the background.
Debuffed by 10%.
There, for me anyway, I feel like there's only one or two things that I can actively keep up with. And so when a whole bunch of them hit at once, I'm thankful that I have a streaming service. So like once I catch up on one, I can maybe go and visit another. But like right now, His Dark Materials, Watchmen, Silicon Valley, like there's a handful of things that are all coming out right now, and I just kind of choose what's priority. Like I've fallen back on Watchmen. I'm okay with that. I'll catch up eventually, and you know, because streaming services.
yeah.
I caught up with Watchmen. Episode 3 is definitely where it starts all kind of clicking together a little bit. Like
Okay.
those first 2 episodes definitely are just.
You know, this,
I was super off balance the entire. I mean, we talked about it that first episode. We were
It
like,
starts
what the fuck
clicking
happened?
more into
JRPG
mythos
is
of
good
Watchmen.
after about 100 hours. You know, that's when it really kicks in.
Yeah.
The Death Stranding of TV shows.
Christ. It's more, it would be more of a game than a show then, right?
Oh, that's Bandersnatch.
Well, we have gotten to the end of the podcast. Our very first live
Say it ain't
broadcast
so.
podcast. We we haven't mentioned it so far, but we are broadcasting this episode live, and we will be broadcasting these episodes live from now on. Every Sunday at 3:30 Mountain Time is when we will start streaming, and you'll get a little bit of pre-show, get a little bit of post-show. And so, yeah, check us out on YouTube. If you're watching this, then you're probably already on our YouTube page, youtube.com/toplessrobot, DOTCOM, and on Facebook, facebook.com/toplessrobot, which was a battle to get. And tune in every Sunday at 3:30 Mountain Time.
And our chat today has been going nuts, and we didn't really.
Yeah, we've got the chat up.
we have
haven't
twos
really
of people
Going.
we haven't really decided whether to acknowledge chat throughout the stream or not. So I don't know. We're just kind of feeling it out.
Yeah,
I say we
Man.
ignore Brent just to make him mad.
Yeah.
you know, let's not.
He looks
do
like he's
that.
having fun on his own.
Death Strander snatch.
And so Nathan, where can everyone find you?
So you can check out my podcast that I do with Chrissy Lenz, the most excellent 80s movie podcast on, just Google it. I'm sure. Most excellent 80s movie pod.com. And then if you wanted to check out my web series, Voyage Trekkers, we're on YouTube and the interwebs and various stuff like that.
Cool.
Radical.
Cool. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
course.
being here. And on that note, thank you everyone for watching and or listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Brr, brr.
down again.
Is this your card? Subscribe if it is.